There are so many opportunities for us as entrepreneurs. I know you're probably overexcited with excitement, right? But the truth is, if you want to be successful in business, you really have to face one reality. Social media is one of the most important tools in a modern entrepreneur's marketing arsenal. Social media marketing has changed the way businesses reach their customers, hands down. Social media marketing, it really is the rocket fuel that makes your content go viral. The problem, it can be pretty difficult for many entrepreneurs to strike that balance between engaging their ideal customers and being focused on their core business. And if you're not careful, it can be super easy to transgress the unwritten laws of social media that will really cost you a lot of time and money. And if you're a small business owner on social media, then you probably have made a couple of mistakes along the way. Maybe one of these 8 most common mistakes, if you haven't made them all. Hello and welcome to another episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple. I'm your host, Jenny Lyon, and today I wanted to talk more about the art of social media and the 8 most common mistakes to avoid. So I really wanted to dig into how you can use social media marketing to boost your business's brand and sales. And I'm here to teach you the strategies that I've used successfully with businesses ranging in size from a startup to multiple figures. And if you want to take advantage of the power of social media marketing, this is the place to start. So let's jump right in. So number 1, working without a plan. Oh my gosh, if you're posting aimlessly and if you're not careful, you can really find yourself spending a ton of time on social media content that no one is going to find interesting. So instead of letting your schedule kind of fly like the wind, why not plan out your content that you're going to put out online? Batch all of that content and knock it all out, right? We talked about that before. I think it's really important to batch your content. And when it comes to social media, really, that's no different. For me, I sit down usually on a Friday or a Saturday, I'll just sit down and I will knock out all of the social media for the following month. I batch write all of it. I do all the graphics, the scheduling, it's done. And then it's off my mental plate, at least for a few more weeks. Next up is a huge mistake that so many people that I work with encounter. And that's assuming that your audience is everyone. Oh my gosh. So just because you have a Facebook page doesn't mean that everyone who likes your page will use your services or buy your product. The more channels that you're on, the higher your chances of getting more fans and followers. But here's the thing, fans and followers are no good if they don't use your services or buy your product. So you want to segment your audience into different groups and target each of those groups with content that appeals to them. So don't just think about your brand, think about your customer, right? If you're not in their shoes and understand what they need, then you're going to have a really hard time understanding how to reach them. And if you try to reach everyone, you'll reach no one. The next most common mistake when it comes to social media is buying followers. Oh my gosh, this one's a biggie. And if you've ever bought followers, you're not alone. Many people who are starting out in social media marketing think that buying followers is the answer to all their woes. And it seems logical, right? The more followers that you have, the more credible your account will appear. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. If you want your business's social media accounts to go viral, then you need to ensure that your content is relevant and engaging. Buying followers will only hurt you because it makes you look like you have something to hide. Next up is choosing the wrong tone, right? To reach your audience effectively, you have to make sure that you're using the right tone of voice in each of those mediums. So for example, on Twitter, people are really likely to respond well to a direct approach that asks them a question or tries to draw their attention in some way. Whereas a Facebook post, they tend to not do as well when you're pushy or sales oriented. But you don't want to be afraid to experiment with using language on social media. So you might try some quirky, clever, funny, different types of language, whatever works for you and fits your personality. It's really up to you to figure out what's going to work best for your business. And the best way to find out is to explore different tones, right? Do some A/B testing to determine what works best for your audience. What do they really respond to? Next up is using irrelevant hashtags, right? So you've probably heard of hashtags, right? Unless you've been living under a rock. But do you know how to use them correctly? Hashtags can be super beneficial for staying on top of important topics and keywords related to your business. But like most things in life, they are only helpful if you use them correctly. And that's why you should really make sure that the hashtags that you're using are actually relevant to your audience. Otherwise, you end up looking like you're using a bunch of gibberish, or worse, like it's an oddity, like it doesn't even belong. Hashtags are really your friend, right? But you have to choose the right ones. Hashtags will not tag themselves. If you want to be successful with your content and making it accessible to a broader audience, then you need to use hashtags, and you might need to do a little bit of legwork there. So I do have a complete list of seasonal hashtags that you can download. You can use them for all of your holiday content and social media holiday content, and they will definitely help you stand out. And you can jump over and grab those at jennylyon.com/hashtags. Next up is a big one, staying silent. I hear this a lot from clients. I don't know what to say, right? And social media, it's really just a giant conversation. I always think of social media, like a cocktail party, right? And if you want your voice to be heard, you have to throw yourself out there, right? That's why I think of it as a cocktail party. You kind of have to mingle. You've got to do small talk. You've got to get to know people. The world is talking to you every day. Are you talking back, right? So if someone's talking about, say, your brand online, then there's no better time to chime in, right? Social media provides marketers with an opportunity to interact directly with your customers on their own terms, right? When they're actually thinking about you. So that's why it's so important to stay active on your social media accounts. A lot of times I will ask clients, like, how's your social media doing? And they'll say, oh, I haven't posted on social media. Or I had a client last week tell me, I've been posting on social media, but then I realized I wasn't replying to any comments. And there were comments and questions that have been sitting there for weeks. So it's super important to stay active, on your social media. And it really helps build customer loyalty, and it advocates for your brand, right? And it's one of the greatest marketing tactics out there. And that's why staying silent during major socializing, it's a big mistake, right? It can cost you customers and clients and prospects. Your social media strategy doesn't need to be super complicated. You can actually go really simple with your social media strategy. You just want to make sure that you're putting out relevant content that's valuable to your audience, but that you also make yourself available for people to reach out to you at the end of the day. You don't make what, it's fun. It's got to be fun. Think of it as something fun to do, but like a social experiment. It shouldn't be a chore, right? If it were, then no one would be on social media. So make it fun so you enjoy doing it, so you'll be active on it, and you'll really see the benefits come from it. Next up is deleting negative comments. Oh my gosh, right? Negative commentary, it can do a lot of damage to your brand, so it's important to be prepared to respond sensitively. So you don't want to fear your critics. Instead, you want to use them to your advantage, right? And if you can ignore negative commentary rather than delete it, then you'll be rewarded with positive comments and a positive brand image. So we see this a lot of time where someone might mess up on social media and say something they shouldn't, and then people will start to leave a lot of negative comments. And then that person will go back in and just start deleting everything, right? Instead, it's a great opportunity to start a further conversation and respond sensitively and be part of that conversation and learn from it. And always remember to be sensitive when you're responding to negative comments on social media, because you don't want to come off as offensive. You want to build that bridge and fix that miscommunication. And that goes with any type of negative feedback that you get on the internet. It's really important, if you get a negative Google review, to respond to it in a proactive way and offer a solution. Criticism is really a valuable asset to your business, and you shouldn't overlook it or delete it. You should really learn from it and, approach it right away and offer a solution. And last but not least is being unremarkable and unbending, right? So a lot of people who are on social media assume that the only way that you can make something go viral is if it's controversial, right? Or that it uses some sort of imagery that's going to grab negative attention. But really, that couldn't be farther from the truth. People are really drawn to content that is interesting and valuable and relevant to them, or even content that just makes them laugh or smile. I mean, seriously, have you ever seen like viral dog or cat videos? I mean, I get sucked into them on TikTok and I'm always showing my husband, oh my gosh, look at how cute this is. So you want to make sure that you're sharing regular, fresh, fun content that your audience will love to consume. With so many different social media sites, it can be really hard to know where to post your content. And you have probably made some of these mistakes without even realizing it, right? And if social media isn't something that you're really into and that you're paying really close attention to, or you're really not sure if you're using it in the best way that you could for your business, then please reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, but we also offer social media audits where we basically go through your entire social media presence and can offer guidance on how best to use each network and, rewriting your profiles, what hashtags to use, when to post, helping you curate content and design graphics. And we also help you by talking through your goals and providing suggestions about, which channels are going to be most effective at achieving those goals and what other digital marketing strategies can we use to drive sales from those efforts. So if you're just getting started with social media marketing, or you feel like you need a fresh perspective, or even just a fresh set of eyes on your efforts, then please reach out. I'm always happy to help, and you can do so at jennylyon.com/chat. So let's back up. What did we learn today? Oh my gosh. So there are 8 common mistakes that people tend to make when it comes to social media. The first one is a huge one. They work without a plan. Instead of having a plan that they're following, they just kind of post when they think about it, or there's no strategy involved. You really want to make sure that the content that you're putting out has your target audience in mind, but it's also engaging. Number 2 is assuming that your audience is everyone. I've said this over and over again. You cannot market to everyone. If you think everyone is your target audience, then essentially no one is your target audience. Number 3 is buying followers. It will only hurt you because there's nothing to gain. If you're buying followers who aren't interested in what you have to offer, your services, your products, then there's really no benefit there. Next up is choosing the wrong tone. So you don't want to be afraid to experiment with different language, right? So use your personality, let it shine through. If you're quirky, let it be quirky. You can try clever and funny, whatever works best for you. And using irrelevant hashtags, right? Hashtags are so beneficial when it comes to staying on top of important topics and keywords, especially when they're related to your business. But like most things in life, they're only helpful if used correctly. Next up is staying silent, right? The world is talking. Are you part of the conversation? Make sure that you are. If your fan base is leaving questions and comments for you, make sure that you're taking the time to respond. And if you're not getting comments or interactions, that's okay. Start a conversation of your own. And next up is deleting negative comments, right? This is something to really remember, that if you do get a negative comment, you want to be really sensitive in how you respond to it and how proactive you are in responding to it. I always want to fix any type of issue like that. I do a lot of reputation management for my clients online. And when we see that one of their customers or clients has had a experience that didn't meet what they hoped, we want to fix it for them. So we do whatever we can in our power to do that. And last but not least is being unremarkable and unbending, right? So you sometimes will hear that you have to be controversial or you've got to do something so way out there to go viral. And it's really not true. You just really need to provide excellent content that's really valuable that your audience is going to just eat up. And with so many social media sites, we know that it's super tough to know where to post, when to post. And, you probably have made some of these mistakes without realizing it. That's only natural. So if you're looking for a social media audit, or you just have more questions about how to use each network to your advantage, then please do reach out. We'll talk through your goals with you and then provide suggestions about what channels are most effective at achieving the goals based on our expertise in digital marketing, and really help you to drive sales online. And of course, if you're just getting started or you need, just a fresh set of eyes, please reach out. Well, I hope you found this episode of Digital Marketing Made Simple helpful. And if you're on social media, take a little bit of time to kind of audit, what you already have. Grab my weekly social media checklist or our holiday hashtag calendar to help you get started. We have a lot of social media resources on our website. You can find them at jennylyon.com/freebies, all kinds of workbooks and templates and checklists, pretty much everything you can think of. And we have a very large section devoted to social media. So I hope you find all of these resources helpful. And I hope that you are marketing on social media and you're getting your voice out there, because you have great stuff and people need to know about it. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.